Hey guys, it's Trevor with Peak Potential Physiotherapy and Wellness. Hopefully, I am live here again to talk to y'all about the psoas. Last week we discussed what the psoas muscle was, what the psoas muscle, why the psoas muscle can bother you so much. This week we had a blog earlier on Monday that I will link to below, the 7 secrets to heal the psoas muscle to stay active and pain-free. I have a couple cool stories I want to share with y'all later on to let you know about some of my progress that I've done with people with their psoas problem. It is Trevor from Peak Potential Physiotherapy and Wellness here in Collierville, Tennessee. Coming to you to talk to you about the psoas muscle, and the psoas versus so what. So we've been in this area for over a year now. I've been practicing as a physical therapist for over 12 years and have just been really enjoying it and being able to serve our community with keeping them happy, active, independent, without having the use of medications, injections, or surgery. If you have questions, please put them in the chat below, and we can discuss the conversation then. So, again, we are talking about the psoas muscle and the 7 secrets to heal the psoas muscle to stay active and pain-free. Last week when we talked about why the psoas muscle gets irritated, a lot of times it is because we are sitting a lot and we have these muscles that shorten when we're sitting. The psoas muscle is the only muscle that attaches from our spine, so back here, to our lower legs. It is the only muscle that attaches directly from our back to our lower extremities. So it has a lot to do with being able to lift your knee up or to be able to flex your trunk down. Also, a fun fact is that it was in Runner's World, reports that when a runner will run at least an hour, you will contract the psoas muscle 5,000 times. Yeah, let that digest. So 5,000 times you will contract this muscle by running 1 hour. Think if that just has a little bit of irritation to it, what will happen? To contract a muscle 5,000 times if you're a runner in 1 hour, if that psoas muscle is just a little bit shortened. So another term for the psoas is hip flexor muscle, which you've heard before, and that will, again, flex your hip or bring your knee up towards your chest or bring your trunk down towards your legs. So we talked about what the psoas does. You have to have the optimal length-tension relationship in a muscle, meaning that it can't be too short and it can't be too long in order to get the proper contraction and strength out of it. I'm going to go through the 7 secrets to healing the psoas, and if you have questions, please don't hesitate to chat. Put it in the chat below, or email us at peakpotentialpt.com. Jumping on the website and emailing us directly, or putting in an inquiry form to talk to us a little bit more about that. So to fill you in, it made me think about the psoas muscle a lot more just teaching about it last week. I had a patient who actually got on the chat and said, hey, I've been feeling better. Is this a muscle that could be bothering me? It is one of the things that we get to in a progression of treatment with lower back pain. We try to look at the mechanical first. Are your joints moving correctly? Is the muscle in the glute and the hip calmed down? So I think we talked about the piriformis before. That's a big muscle that will overactivate along with your psoas when you have a weak hip muscle. And we can go into that a little bit more if anyone has any questions about that. So she had asked about it, and I said, well, yes, that could be part of your problem because she has a very sedentary or sitting job. We The day after I did the Facebook Live, she came in. We found that the side that she has pain on, that muscle was very irritated. That hip flexor muscle was very irritated. We released it. Her pain went away almost. Oh, well, it did go away when she was up and moving. Her range of motion got better. Her pain went away. Then she went to work, and the pain came back. She emailed me and said, hey, it got a lot better, and then it came back. So she did her own experiment, said, I'm going to get up and stretch every 10 to 15 minutes. I got an email over the weekend, which made me very happy for her. She said, I did that, and I was able to walk around the store and only have a 1 out of 10 discomfort, which is part of what she wanted to do, is she wanted to be able to walk around the store and not have her back pain. She wanted to be able to go on her vacation and take a tour and not have her back pain, all because this one muscle was part of the bigger picture that we were dealing with. Okay, so the 7 secrets. Number 1 is relaxation. Yes, relax is a 4-letter word to most people, and I know it's not really 4 letters, but it's a 4-letter word meaning that people can't do it. So being able to relax and do deep breathing will help calm down the muscle. As you feel everything kind of tighten and feel tight around the stomach and around the pelvis, is then that will keep that muscle aggravated or tight. If you can do deep breathing, that'll allow you to relax the muscle and be able to stretch it more effectively. Because when we say deep breathing, we're talking about belly breathing. Belly breathing is using your diaphragm or your belly to take a deep breath in. There's a lot of different ways to do breathing, but we teach belly breathing is just put one hand on your chest, one hand on your stomach, okay? When you do that, you should take a breath in, and your stomach should move, and not your chest. If you find your chest moving, you're doing chest breathing versus belly breathing. You can do this sitting, standing, lying down, but you're going to do belly breathing to calm down muscle irritation. Okay? So that's one thing. Another way you can do that is what's called 4-7-8 breathing. This will help you get to sleep. This will also help calm things down. So 4-7-8 breathing stands for the seconds. So you would take a breath in for 4 seconds with the belly, hold it for 7 seconds. I won't do it all. And then breathe out for 8-second count. And it's a quick count. So it's not 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000. It's a quick count. 1, 2, 3. So the second secret is stretching. A lot of people stretch their hip flexor a lot, and I'm going to demonstrate a couple of those and how we teach people to get in the right position to stretch. The first one is you can just lie on your back and hang your leg off of a bed if it's high enough. Most people have a tall bed now. So if you're lying on your bed, at the edge of the bed, you'd pull one knee up and let the other leg fall down, and that will stretch out your hip flexor. The biggest and easiest one to do is a standing one, and that's what I'm going to demonstrate to you today, is the standing hip flexor stretch. But how do you do that? How are you able to stretch the psoas without irritating things? So to do the standing stretch, hopefully y'all can see me here, but you get in a lunge position, how most people would do the hip flexor stretch. The biggest thing I tell people, though, is you have to tuck your bottom underneath of you. And what that does, it starts the tension at the psoas. And so you tuck your bottom underneath of you, and then you lunge forward. You should feel the stretch on the leg that's behind you, and it should be at the top of the hip. You might also feel it in the front of the thigh here, but you'll feel it in the front of the hip and down the front of the thigh. Now, what will also happen when you lunge forward or when you tuck your tail, your knee on the leg behind you could be bent as well, which is fine. For me, my left one is not as tight, so I can go pretty far forward before I feel the stretch. Now my right one is the side that I've had back pain issue on. So all I have to do is when I tuck my tail underneath me, I get a huge stretch right in the front of my hip. And if I think about leaning forward, it's just going to increase that stretch. But instead of leaning forward and bending backwards, which most people do, you want to lunge forward on the front leg like you're being pulled forward by your belly button, okay? So, but like a string on the belly button, you're being pulled forward, okay? So that's the standing hip flexor stretch. You can also do that in a chair, where you have a chair or a stool in front of you. You put your foot up. Again, you tuck your bottom underneath of you, and you lunge forward to feel the stretch on the leg behind you. And that's the hip flexor stretch, or the psoas stretch, however you want to call it. All right, number 3 is a foam roller. Everyone loves to hate the foam roller. So I usually like a 36 by 6 inch foam roller. The darker the color, the more dense the foam, the less it'll compress. So if you're a little sore, you might go out and buy a white foam roller to start off with, and then graduate to a darker black foam roller. I know they have the ones with the knots and all that, and that's just, I think, sometimes being mean to yourself in that regards. But with the foam roller, you would lie on the floor and kind of get in a Spider-Man position and roll up and down the front of the thigh, right below your pelvis, or this little hook that's right in front. And that's where the hip flexor tendon, or the psoas tendon's coming down and attaching right to the front part of your leg or femur to bring your hip up. And that's where you put the foam roller. So that will help that one out. If you have questions about these, please ask me. And I can always send you an exercise for this. We have a little program. I can email them to you if you have any questions and want to know. So the third one is just strengthening the psoas. To do that, a lot of times people do straight leg raises where one leg's out and one leg's up, and you're just lifting the leg up to do that. A good one that you might do in the gym is you're hanging on a pull-up bar, and you're just going to bring your knees up towards your chest, and that's working the hip flexor as well as the lower abdominals. So strengthening the psoas is number 4. Number 5 is engaging your core. So that's just an abdominal exercise. I spoke about this last week, and I might need to do another Facebook Live on what your core muscles actually are. Everyone has differing opinions, just like everyone has differing opinions about what the heck the psoas does as well. So doing partial sit-ups or abdominal exercises, you can don't hook your legs underneath something, because then that will allow you to use this adds strain on your psoas. So instead, keep your knees and hips flexed at 90 degrees, or a ball or a chair. This makes the abdominal muscles work, and you don't overstress the psoas, because you don't want to overwork it, because it will get aggravated and not be happy. Number 6 is changing your habits. A lot of times this is the hardest problem. Great book that I just read, The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg, goes through some of this and just having how to change your habit process. I can get into a lot of the science of it, but it's a good book. So if you have a chance, go out and grab that. But changing your habits, the biggest thing is take frequent breaks when you're sitting. So try to get up at least once an hour so those muscles don't get shortened like they are right now when I'm sitting here doing this Facebook Live. So change your habits. Get up every hour or so. Go through the stretch that I just showed you will be a great one to do. The other one is soft tissue release. Sometimes you can use a foam roller to do this. There's other ones that you can do. So stretching sometimes just isn't enough. The soft tissue release is us using our hands to do it. This is what I did with the patients last week after doing the Facebook Live. Reminded me to check the psoas a lot. I think I told the story that I had someone who had some side attica pain, which is pain going down the outside of their leg versus the back of their leg. And after releasing their psoas or their hip flexor, the pain almost went away. So then we had to teach them how to release it and calm down the pain as well. So when yesterday, instead of using a foam roller, you can use a lacrosse ball or a tennis ball to release that muscle as well. So not directly into the stomach, to show you again, is not here where we get in and use it. So it would be hard for you to put the ball here, and that'd just be a little sore. So again, you find the little hook under your pelvis, and you put it right there, and you find a little tender spot back and forth, and you're able to loosen that up. So you can use the tennis ball or lacrosse ball or the foam roller to do that. So things that you can feel with this psoas irritation that we went over last time was it can cause hip pain, it can cause leg pain, it can cause back pain. I even have had it cause outside or lateral knee pain before. But the psoas doesn't have to be this unknown problem, just like the piriformis. It's kind of weird. Both start with a P and are big problems for people with hip and lower back and leg issues. But they can both be treated well and be released and prevented from occurring again. So by releasing the psoas, incorporating movements that both strengthen and keep it stretched, you can improve your movement patterns, decrease your stiffness, and relieve your pain. If you have questions, please put them in the chat below. But it was great getting to do the live again. I am going to make this a little bit more consistent, hopefully, and do this once a week. So please let us know what else you might want us to talk about. I know that people have put in about teaching or telling y'all why the core is so important. So we can do that. And you can always leave your questions in the chat below or go to our website and put in an inquiry. But this is Trevor Ling with Peak Potential Physiotherapy and Wellness here in Collierville, Tennessee. I'm one of the PTs and one of the owners here, and please feel free to let us know if you have any questions. But our goal is to always help you make a better decision about your health and to keep you healthy, active, mobile, independent, and doing what you love to do. And please let us be able to guide you along those ways.